Alright, what's up guys? Today I'm going to look at something new and really neat. I've got something very interesting to show everybody. A lot of you know that I use TrackIR when I fly in games, mostly in ArmA and Star Citizen. And today I've got something new in the tracking world. It's called the EyeX by a company called Tobii. They are a Swedish company, and it's really cool. It's a little bar that goes along the bottom of your screen, and you can actually see the bar itself right here. This is the entirety of the hardware that goes with it. It's got a it's got a mini USB to plug it in, and it comes with a magnet that goes along the bottom of your screen. It's got an adhesive that connects it there, and it just sits on the bottom of your screen. It's tilted upwards, so it's not coming straight out. It's actually tilted upwards, so it actually looks at you. And what it does is it tracks your eye movement. Instead of tracking your head movement, it just watches your eyes, and it's got 3 sensors that you can see along the bottom that tracks your eye movement. So in game, all you have to do is look at something, and the screen will center and focus on that. It is really cool. So enough looking at me. Let's actually take a look at the hardware as it's set up on my monitor, and then we will get into my computer screen, and I'll let you watch it because it's got a tracker that you can just turn on, and it has a little indicator of where you're looking, which is really cool. And then we'll get into game, and I'll actually play some ArmA with it, and we'll see how it works in game. So here's the actual hardware as it is mounted on my monitor, and it's a very simple setup. It's a very simple piece of hardware. What you got here is a magnet, and it comes with 2 magnets, and it's just a little magnet. It's keyed, and it's got adhesive tape on the back, and it lets you just pop it on and off. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's the magnet that I've got set up, and you line it up, and there you go. It's on there. It's pretty solid. The tape, whatever that adhesive is on that tape, is very strong. And I made the mistake of attaching the 2 magnets to each other once, and it was not an easy feat to get them apart. So very simple, straightforward piece of hardware. Setup is super simple, and it just works. So now let's get to seeing what it looks like on the desktop and then in game. Here we are on the desktop, and a couple of actual secondary programs that come with it, and the primary one is the one that runs all the time. It's called EyeX, and you can bring it up, and it's got a little box down here that actually shows you where your eyes are, and you can see as I move my head around, it's showing where my eyes are, and it even shows which eye is open. I don't actually know if it shows that both my eyes are closed when my eyes are closed because I can't see it. But the cool thing is the gaze trace. And actually, before I even turn the gaze trace on, you can see as I'm looking at certain parts of the menu, it's lighting up. So I look at intro, I look at settings, I look at game apps. It's just tracking where my eyes are looking. So I turn the tracker on, and you can actually see where my eyes are looking. And that's really cool. I mean, the potential for this hardware, not only in gaming but also outside of gaming, is really phenomenal. So for now, we're just going to use it for gaming, but just imagine the possibilities that this sort of hardware can have, especially for people with disabilities. I think it's just really neat. So you can see that it just works. The setup for it is incredibly simple. I'll actually run us through the intro, or actually I'll recalibrate it just so you can see what it looks like. When you first plug it in, it just runs. So we'll do calibration, and it brings you here. And like I said, it shows you where your eyes are at, and it does detect when your head is tilting. But it doesn't do tilt. Like, I know the TrackIR does tilt, but this one does not do tilt, at least not yet. So this is how you calibrate. And all you do to calibrate is you look at the dots, and they explode. And that's it. Now it's calibrated. And, as you can see, it's tracking my eyes. And the second piece of software that comes with it is called the Infinite Screen Extension. This is where you actually set up the hardware to work with the games that you're playing. So for now, specifically, I'm playing ArmA 3, and you can set up things like sensitivity and your view angle limits, and I've got my view angle all the way 90 degrees, so it should go all the way out on both sides. And control features. Now, for now, there's only one control feature, and that's enable disable. There definitely need to be a few more, specifically one that recenters, because that's one of the things that TrackIR has, is that you can just hit a button and it'll recenter your TrackIR. And once I get into game, I'll show you why it's a little bit disorienting to not have a button that recenters your view. And pause is my button, so like I said, let's get into game. Alright, so here we are in game, and as you can see right off the bat, it just works. Like, no issues. Whenever I look, it looks in that direction. So as far as functionality goes, it works right off the bat, no issues. For infantry and ground movement, one of the first things that I noticed is it's pretty disorienting, either in first person or third person, without having the crosshairs on. And if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I normally have crosshairs off, but I noticed pretty quickly after starting to use this that having eye tracked movement and actual ground movement separate can be pretty disorienting. And I think I already went over it, but one of the things that definitely feel this needs is, first of all, a button to recenter, and second of all, a mode that when you're looking at the center of the screen, it recenters. Because as you can see right now, I'm looking at the center of the screen, and when looking at the center of the screen, it doesn't always bring me back to the center of where my character is looking. And that's something with TrackIR. Obviously, your head movement goes back to the center, and it just recenters everything. And on top of that, TrackIR has just a button you can tap to recenter. And that's definitely something we need here. And on top of that, when you go into your sights and you continue to look around, you can see how it's not too bad, because you always got to look back at the center. But if you zoom in, you can see how it can get pretty disorienting. So something that could definitely be useful is more control options, because the one control option we have right now is just enable or disable or hold a button to toggle it on and off. And that's good, but those should all be separated, because holding a button to toggle it on and off, so for example, when I'm zoomed in, if it would recenter it and toggle it off, that would be good. But there's no option for that yet, and hopefully those control options will be expanded as we go into the future. You know, a whole list of like 20 different controls is what I would hope for. You know, a button to recenter, an option to recenter whenever you're looking at the center of the screen, and just options. Options are always awesome. But as for functionality, it just works, and it's really cool. And oh, I missed. I never miss. Uh-oh. Alright, we'll cut that out of the video. What is our zeroing at right now? 100 meters. Very good. So, as for infantry ground movement, having the crosshairs on is pretty much needed, and that's something that I've never dealt with before, and I might have to campaign in my unit to get crosshairs turned back on for people who use things like TrackIR and now the eye tracking. And we'll take a look. We'll go over to the... Do I have a pistol? No. Let's grab a pistol and go over to the pistol range. Alright, here we are at the pistol range. Let's see, do I have my weapon fully loaded? Yes. And we'll just get some trigger time. So all in all, it's really cool. But I think the strength in all of these tracking technologies, like TrackIR specifically, and now the EyeX and free track, I think there's like face track no IR and stuff like that that uses webcam to track your facial movements. I think the strength in all of those really has always been flying. And the EyeX right now, there's a list of software that it works for, including Elite Dangerous and all of the Bohemia stuff, and I think one of the Assassin's Creed games, and then a whole plethora of other games. The one game I'm really looking forward to using it on, which it doesn't work for yet, is Star Citizen. That's going to be the next big thing for me, and that's where I'm really looking forward to using this specifically. I'm really curious to see if the accuracy of the eye tracking will let you use the gimbaled weapons in Star Citizen. Because I've tried that with the TrackIR a little bit, and it didn't quite work with my head movement. Get my earplugs in. And one of the things I had to do when I started using this was I had to move my HUD because the vehicle indicator stuff used to be at the top left, and the weapon indicator stuff used to be up at the top right. And you can see how looking up there to be able to see all that stuff can be super disorienting especially while you're flying. So let's do a little bit of flying. And like I said, it's super intuitive. You know, you just look at whatever you're looking at, and that's where it goes. And this is really the strength of all of this tracking stuff, is flight. I'm not sure if it works for the DCS games, but I think that's, you know, one of the super strong points that something like this would have. And you can see it's got, and I put it at 90 degrees for my settings earlier, so it goes about 90 degrees left and right. And they can probably actually expand that a little bit, because I know with the TrackIR I have like 140, or maybe even 180. Yeah, with the TrackIR, if I turn my head, it just looks all the way around. Concentrate on flying, not talking so much. But it is super intuitive, as opposed to the TrackIR, where you have to get used to moving your head back and forth all the time and orienting on what you're looking at. This just, it naturally points at what you're already looking at, and I think that's the entire point of the thing. Pun not intended. And look down at your instrumentation, and it just looks down at it. It's very natural. So that's one of the strong points about it. One of the, like I said a second ago, if I need to look at my facing up there, it can get disorienting pretty quickly. Instrumentation. Gotta watch my instrumentation. That's one of the things I really wish there was sort of a 2D. See how much smoother that went when I actually started looking at my instrumentation. And that's a fault with ArmA, not with the EyeX. I don't know what that. It's not the altimeter. It's the one that shows you the angle that your aircraft is facing. I wish there was a way to pop that out and just put it somewhere on your screen. I know you can do that if you turn the advanced flight model on, but I do not fly with the advanced flight model on. That tends to go very poorly. One big thing I'm sure people are curious about is the price point. So for the TrackIR, the TrackIR box itself, which I've got up here on the top of my monitor, is about $150, and then the TrackIR clip itself is $40 to $50. And the clip, you can see it, the clip pretty much has a 100% breakage rate. You can see that mine is held together by electrical tape, duct tape, hopes and dreams. I mean, it's with all the tape on there, it's pretty solid. And you know, the TrackIR clip just clips on. I've got it set up to just clip on, and some slack there. And you know, the TrackIR works. But the TrackIR altogether is about $200. The EyeX, the starting price point is $140. But right now, since it's new and it's just come out, it's got a pretty good deal. If you use coupon code, basically, and the coupon code for me is my channel's name. It's Jester814. You get a 30% discount, which brings it to, I think, $98, at least in the U.S. So the price right now at release is right at about half of what a TrackIR costs. So if you think that this is something that you're interested in and you'd like to experiment around with, I definitely encourage it. I think it's really cool, and I think the future potential is just going to get better. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first look at the EyeX, and I am definitely going to be using it more in the future. I'll do a video soon-ish with just me flying some attack aircraft, maybe doing a mission in ArmA, or at least flying around on the practice range and shooting stationary targets. We will see. And as usual, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed.